Hey guys, it's Caitlin here and welcome back to my channel. Today is the official start date of my back to school series and today I'm going to be filming a freshman advice video. I filmed one of these last year, but this is just going to be an updated version because I've completed my sophomore year now and I just feel like I have even more tips and better tips to tell you guys. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy and let's get into the video. My first tip is just to discover who you are as a person. You don't have to have like your whole entire life just planned out or anything, but just get a little idea of what you want to get out of high school and anything that you may want to do after high school, whether it's go to college or go straight into the workforce or like go into the military or something. Just have an idea. In a good way that you can do that is just by starting to journal. Like every day you can kind of write some things down, write your thoughts down and all that, and it just can really help you to kind of get an idea of who you are as a person. Tip number 2 is just to go to your open house. I said this in my video last year, but it's really important that you do because it's good to get to see your school and to know where all your classes are and meet your teachers. And also with the supplies, the teachers will give you a supply list of everything they actually want, so you know what you need to get when you go school supply shopping. So just go. It's only a few minutes. It's not going to take that long anyway, so just go ahead and get it out of the way so on the first day of school you're not overwhelmed trying to find all your classes and having to get all the paperwork, because usually at open house they'll give you papers and stuff that you have to bring back signed by your parents, so it's just easier to just take those home at open house and then just bring them back on the first day instead of waiting till the first day and then having to go through all that. It'll just be too much, so just go ahead and go to your open house. It'll be so much easier than not going. Tip number 3 is also a tip that I put in my video last year, and it's just not to buy any unnecessary supplies. So I just recommend getting one binder for all of your classes, one folder, and then a notebook for any classes that you may have to take notes in. And also have paper, because it's really aggravating when people are just like, hey, can I borrow a piece of paper, and they're saying that every single day. So make sure you have your binder stocked with paper, like put some in your folder. Make sure you have your pencils and pens too, because it's aggravating when someone's just like, can I borrow a pencil, and then they end up never giving it back. You don't need anything extra. Don't get any pointless supplies or anything like that. Like you don't need markers, crayons, color pencils. For some classes you might need that, but most likely your teacher is going to have some that they're going to let you borrow. Tip number 4 is another tip that I put in my video last year, but it is just to get organized. In high school you're going to get a lot more work than you did in middle school. You're going to have a lot more quizzes and tests and all that, so you're going to need to study a lot more. So it's just important to make sure everything's organized, so when you do need to work on something you can have everything just laid out where it needs to be and you can easily find it, and when you need to turn in an assignment or your homework or something, then you just have it right there and you don't have to go flipping through your binder or your folder or something trying to find it. You don't want your papers and all that to be balled up at the bottom of your book bag. Just make sure everything's neatly in a binder and your folder, and then you'll be good to go. Tip number 5 is to study. Study is a big part of high school because you get so much work and you have so many quizzes and tests, like I said in the last tip, but there's just a lot that you have to study for. There's just a lot, so make sure you're studying. I recommend studying like 2 hours every night, or at least like 5 nights a week, just about 2 to 3 hours of study time for your classes, because you don't want to fail. I'm telling you, you do not want to fail, so just make sure that you're studying as much as possible and you're getting all of your work done in a timely fashion. Tip number 6 is to take your classes seriously. This is very important because some people think that just because they're a freshman it doesn't really matter, but no, it does, because this is when you actually get a transcript. Like in middle school you didn't really have one of those. They tell you that all this stuff's going to follow you, but really it doesn't. It mostly starts in 9th grade because that's when your transcript starts, and like they put your GPA and all the classes and stuff you have. So if you end up failing a class, it's really going to mess you up. Like there are seniors out there who didn't take their 9th grade year seriously, and then now they might not graduate on time because of what they did their freshman year. So you don't want that to be the reason that you're not graduating from high school. Your freshman year is the easiest year out of all of high school in my opinion, but still make sure you're taking it very seriously, because if you're not, then it can become 10 times harder than it actually is. Tip number 7 is to join a club, a sport, or just something like that. Just get on some type of team, do something, just be active in your school, because it's a great way for you to get out there and make friends and also just become involved. You don't just want to go to school and come home, because that's really boring. So it's just nice to be able to actually do something and to actually be excited about going to school, because you know that you're going to have something interesting to do either before school starts or after school starts. So that's why it's just important to just go ahead and try something. And also going to college is like, they like to see students who are well-rounded. Yes, they do want you to have good grades, but they also want you to be well-rounded and just doing other types of things. Get involved, because like in high school there's a lot of different things you can do, so I'm sure there's going to be something like some type of club or whatever that fits you. So just go ahead and give it a try, just for the experience. Even if you end up not liking it, at least you can say that you tried it. Tip number 8 is just to go to bed and wake up on time. You really want to set a schedule for yourself, because it's going to make having to get up and go to school so much easier. So make sure you're going to bed, I would say like 9 or 10. Well, really it's according to how like early your school starts also, but a good time I think to wake up is like, I think a good time to go to sleep is like 9 or 10, and then like wake up at like around 5:30. That's what I would do. And like I also set up like a mini schedule for myself, and it just made my mornings run a lot smoother, and then it also gave me some extra time for me to just do whatever I wanted.